It is the last week of Jaeger Cup for the group stage of the Jaeger Cup, actually. So all the regular season action just happened back in week 18. We're looking forward to round 8 of the Jägermeister Cup matches. It's going to be an exciting weekend. All the chaos, everything is about to happen because while there is a team who has won a group, not everybody has won a group yet. So we don't even have those settled yet. And everyone is still alive for the wild card spot. So, welcome to another episode of League One on the Rocks. My name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter at I'm Rich, but I'm not. Brian over there, you can find him on Twitter at Mediocre Ace. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Just another day in paradise, uh, making it through the work week here. Hopefully, it ends sooner rather than later. There's quite a bit of stuff going on this weekend, so excited to get to it, but more excited to talk about some Jägermeister Cup tonight.
Absolutely. Last weekend you were at the Omaha match, weren't you?
hmm
Hosting Richmond.
I was.
Okay. Yeah, I had a bye weekend, so I decided to take it nice and easy, relax, do a bunch of reading. It was awesome.
Yeah.
There was a brief moment Saturday night and Sunday morning when I swear my Kindle was dead, and I was pretty close to a full-on panic because I did not want to have to get another Kindle and all that kind of stuff. I love my Kindle. Luckily, it came back, so
Yeah, I was
all is
just
right
about
in
to
the world.
ask you about that. Hopefully, that thing got sorted away.
Yeah.
Last show,
So
we talked
I
about your scrolling habits with being under the blanket. So
did I tell you about that?
you did. Yeah.
Yes. I love
Yeah.
that stand and I
That
love that remote.
That makes sense, man. I'm not. I'm more of a books with paper kind of guy. I've never really been into the Kindle or anything like that, but whatever works for you, really. Especially if you can stay curled up in blankets and just flip through. I mean, that's got to make it better. So you have an advantage over regular books, definitely there.
Exactly. Absolutely. Couldn't
Truth
agree more.
truth be told, I'm more of an audiobook person myself, but
I need to try it more. I tried to listen to a couple of them and I just couldn't get sucked in.
yeah,
I think it's also because if I'm driving or something like that, I just like, especially if I'm on the interstate or something like that, my mind just goes "Nyeh," and I just focus on the road and I just
hmm
zero everything out.
yeah. They're very hit or miss. I'm not gonna lie. I tried on Spotify. I tried listening to 1984, but it looks like what they did, they like used AI to do all of the voice work and all of the reading of the book because it just does is not done very well at all. So I went through and found for anybody that hasn't like listened to the Lord of the Rings audiobooks, there's a guy that did it and implements like the music and does everybody's different voice like a little bit differently so you can distinguish voices and put sound effects and stuff in it. I think
Was that
Phil Dragish was his name.
Oh, okay. I thought you
And
were gonna talk about the Andy Circus.
no, I have listened to the Andy Circus one at least a little bit, but this one I just for some reason the music is that good. It brings you in so well, and he does a really good job. So I'm now listening to it for I think the fifth time in 3 years. So
Nice. I'm gonna have to check that out. What was the name again?
Phil Dragish, I think is his name.
Phil Dragish. Okay.
It's on
And
Spotify, but it's not like an official one because for whatever reason they didn't want him to have the official like moniker or any of the official stuff for it.
the music you mentioned, is it the actual soundtrack
It is the
from Lord of the
actual
Rings?
soundtrack, yes.
No way.
I think that's the reason why they don't have it fully. But you can also use like the Wayback Machine on the internet and find his readings of it and download them for your own use.
I do love me some Howard Shore. So
Oh,
the Lord of the Ring soundtrack, that's got to be up there. All time best like movie soundtrack ever.
I'd say it's easily in the top 5.
Yeah, easily top five. Yeah. We already got Tim with Ranting Blue Penguin coming in. For just 70 cents a day, you can you can donate a Kindle and keep Rich sane. Yes, that is true. And then why is Allen Iverson trending? AI is the answer. Yeah, okay. There it is. Yep.
Why is Allen Iverson trending? We'll have to explore that at some point.
Is it just because of the initials AI?
Maybe it could be.
He was a lot of fun to watch when he was playing, that's for sure.
Oh, AI was
Oh, okay.
reading.
He's not. Yeah.
Got it.
There we go.
I got
Thank you,
all
Tim.
excited. Good to see you, Tim.
I watched one of those 30 for 30s about Allen Iverson, and they talked about how during practices, he would just walk in with like Taco Bell and be eating Taco Bell before he would run out on the court.
Oh
It's
man,
insane.
yeah, that dude was something. AI will always be an Allen Iverson to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
he definitely was the answer. Um,
Yeah.
had to deal with his personal issues, but that's beyond the point, I suppose.
Yeah. But with that all aside, I saw you drinking a little bit of Gatorade.
Yes.
Are you sticking purely to that tonight? You got anything else over there?
No, I am sticking purely to Gatorade. It is rather warm, and I have a day at work tomorrow that involves me going over to a big concrete building that has heaters in it to help dry concrete. So
Oh,
I'm doing a little preemptive hydration for that.
oh my gosh. Heaters in the summer. Yeah, that's a great mix.
Hey man, I guess for whatever reason they got to have them going to help dry the concrete out. I'd say just wait an extra day personally, but what do I
Yeah.
know?
Wow. That's crazy. I had to work a an event here in town called the Borough Browse. It's like so when colleges are welcoming students back to classes and everything, and they always have those events where a ton of vendors come out, hand out flyers, hand out samples,
Sure.
all that kind of stuff. Well, we had a booth there as well, and it was hot that day. Luckily, our booth was in the shade, but still, I mean, just walking around in the sun, I mean, it was crazy hot that day. I slept very well. Um, that was that was yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday. Yeah, I slept very well last night. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, a nice well-deserved rest.
Yeah. As for me, I am drinking a little bit of Coke and whiskey.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very well hidden in the coffee mug. Everybody thinks you're just drinking tea. So this is
yeah,
the reason why you got to get here for the early part of the shows too, because then you get to see. Because you come in 5 minutes from now, oh, Rich is just drinking coffee or tea. Man, that
yeah.
guy really doesn't sleep.
Which whiskey? That's a good question. I pulled it out of the cupboard. I can't remember which one it was, but um can't remember which one it was, but yeah, it was shoot, what was that whiskey? Can't remember. I don't know. It's certainly whiskey though. I can tell you that. Tastes good. I just learned about a new scotch that I want to try. Um and oh, I'm trying to think of the something. It's not Four Roses, but it on the sticker has like a rose on it as well. But um it sounds really good. And they have a place not too terribly far away from here where you can actually like take a tour of the distillery um, and all that kind of stuff. And man, it sounds really good. So I'm gonna have to try that. I can't remember what the name of it is, but whatever. Yeah, Tim, he's totally right. Yeah, yes, the whatever I picked first label, such good aging. Yes, that one. That's the one. All right, so we can jump into some of the League One news to start off with. This was announced last Friday, so we were recording just before this announcement was made public. But Lexington acquired forward Cameron Lacey on loan from San Antonio FC, who plays in the USL Championship. He's going to be with Lexington for the remainder of the 24 season. Um, so this announcement was made public on Friday, he did play in the weekend match against Madison. It was only 7 minutes and change, but still already subbing onto the field playing for Lexington. During his time with San Antonio, he had 16 appearances, 2 assists along the way. Before he was with San Antonio, he was with Minnesota United, 2 of the MLS Next Pro.
Ooh,
And in 20 appearances, he had 9 goals, 2 assists, and 17 chances created.
it's not bad at
So
all.
hopefully he'll be able to help them out a bit toward the end of the season. Um,
Just interesting. The team that won the off season picked up somebody that is supposed to come in and really help out their chances this,
yeah,
I won't say late in the season, but I guess late in the season is the correct way to say it. We only have 2 months left. So,
that's true. Yeah. So we'll have to see what kind of production he can give them in the last 2 months. But
mhm.
some news coming out of there. And then Alta FC had some stadium news. They have broken ground of their future home. If you go to their website and you put in your deposit for the 2025 season tickets, you can actually choose your own seat. That offer lasts from September 9th to September 12th. So keep an eye out for that stuff and make sure you get your season ticket deposit. And
Very nice.
I remember I remember the excitement as soon as like Union Omaha was formed and you were able to put your season tickets in. I remember the excitement of trying to, see where I wanted to choose my seats and all that kind of stuff. That was an
Hmm.
exciting day.
Yeah. My brother went and did that on his own accord. So I did not get that, but he did pick out really good seats. So I appreciate him for that. I will say.
That's good. Although I will say I did have to send the unfortunate email that I'm canceling my season tickets for the 25 season. Doesn't make sense for me.
Understandably so. I mean, being halfway across the country makes it a little hard to get back every other Saturday.
Yeah, yeah. It was a tough decision, but at the same time, it was an easy one and a necessary one. So had to make
Hmm.
it happen.
Yep.
Fuego, some news coming out of Fuego. So Coach Jones had his 2 sons move down to Fresno, and he's going to be hosting them, or they're going to be living with him as they have just decided to sign on with the Fuego Academy. So both of his sons are 15 years old and moved away from the comforts of home to pursue their dream. They're going to live with their dad. They're going to attempt to go pro. I mean, yeah, there
It's
you
good.
go.
That's a good story, man. Uh,
Yeah,
hopefully they do well. That'll be an interesting thing to keep an eye on here in the next couple years.
yeah. And then speaking of academy signings, Tormenta actually signed 2 guys earlier today. I want to make sure I get their names right so I can do them justice here. Um, so first one is Liam Healy. He's going to be signing. He signed on for the remainder of the 24 season, and then the other one is Schaefer Gottlieb. He's going to be signing on for the remainder of the 24 season as well. And so Schaefer's a defender, and Liam is a forward. Um, I got to see them play a few times during some of the USL Academy matches, and certainly fun to watch. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's good. That's something Tormenta needs. They need somebody maybe with a little bit of energy to interject some life into them at this point.
Yeah. And when you watch, it's funny when you watch like the academy matches because there are certain guys that just jump off the field when you're watching them. Like you see this like metaphorical spotlight on him. You're like, yep, that guy's gonna move on to the next stage.
Hmm.
And both of those guys were certainly one of those in that mix. Um, I think there's still a couple more guys that certainly have the potential to get those signings. So it'll be interesting to see if and when that happens. But certainly always good to see academy signings happen. So that's good.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Well, we can jump straight into the Week 18 recap. We had 10 clubs compete over the weekend. We had two with bye weeks. We had Chattanooga and Tormenta with a bye week.
Hmm.
Friday night, we had a battle between One Knox and Spokane, and Kempis Tequila's goal in the 28th minute made him the club's all-time leading scorer. Awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Um,
It was a good match. I mean, I'm having a hard time trying to remember what our picks were for this one, but I no, I don't think either of us set a draw. Definitely in
no,
this one. Um,
yeah, no.
it ended up. I mean, it ended up being exactly kind of what we thought. Knoxville's defense playing well, and Spokane trying to come through the middle and be able to play through the middle. And to their credit, they were getting some balls through. They did look like a team that was well put together. But that Knoxville defense, man, Fort Knox. Let's just start calling it that right now. I
Yep.
mean, I know they let in one goal, but that's a tough team to keep out of the net anyway. So
Yeah.
great match to start off this weekend.
Yeah. And then so that's like two teams that have good defensive lines
Mm-hmm.
and have a penchant for like developing their attacks through the middle of the field. Now, Spokane also likes to cross, so they like to get some ball movement to the outside,
Mm-hmm.
but they also have quality center midfielders, so they can try to take charge of the middle lane if they want to. Obviously, Knoxville also, certainly sound in their center midfielder movement too. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Definitely.
that was a fun one. Moving on to Saturday night, we had Charlotte hosting Fuego, and man, took complete charge of them, winning 4-0.
Yeah, we spoke about it last week, and I think this is the conclusion we both came to. What was probably going to happen in this match? Maybe not 4-0. That seems a little crazy. But yeah, I think most people would have told you going into this match that Charlotte just has too many pieces, and they are too good right now to be stopped by Central Valley Fuego. It's just unfortunate for Fuego, but it kind of just is where we are right now with them and with their development of their squad. So
Yep.
Charlotte does what top of the table teams do. They went in and took care of business against teams in the bottom half of the table. So
Yeah, and I know that when we posted the poll on Saturday, um, I mentioned how Central Valley had won in the previous um, trip to Charlotte, and how they'd been performing better than them recently. But yeah, you and I were both on the same mindset that like Charlotte was going to take care of business on that one.
mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yep.
it was interesting storylines to keep track of in case something happened. But yeah, Charlotte was going to win that one. We
Yeah.
had that one picked.
Yep.
Next up was Lexington hosting Ford Madison. And this was another one where there were some quality storylines leading up to this match. And it lived up to the hype because, man, a nil-nil
Mm-hmm.
final score there, despite the chances from both sides.
Tons. Yeah. Tons of chances. I don't, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you how many there were, but there were definitely ones that should have probably been put away for both sides. I think this match definitely would have been drawn no matter if there had been goals that went in or not.
Yeah.
Both of these teams played extremely well defensively, and they both seem to come out and have the game plan on how to attack each other, and I kind of implemented it perfectly. It just wasn't a night for anybody on the pitch to get the ball in the back of the net.
And these two teams were not afraid to get in each other's faces. Because if you look at the stats here, Lexington had 14 total shots. 10 of those came inside Madison's box.
Mm-hmm.
Madison, on the other hand, had 9 total shots, 8 of which came inside Lexington's box.
Yeah.
Like they were getting their touches inside the box and not afraid to take a shot either. Like they were going at each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good match overall, and something that, as an Omaha fan, I like that. I applaud Madison dropping points, especially when the table is this tight. So Lexington, appreciate the assist on that one for sure.
And Lexington, I mean, well, I'm looking at their last 3 and their last 5. They're still undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at Lex. Yeah. No, they're undefeated in their last 4. But still, even that's quality achievement right there. They're really turning things around on their end. Tim coming in saying reported attendance at Charlotte was 530. Yeah. I
Yikes.
think the season low was Fuego, and I think they're sitting like 380, I think. Um, so they didn't set a record low for the season, but yeah, 530 doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, also to Tim's next point that the stats don't look like a 4-0 win for Charlotte.
yeah.
They don't. If you, these stats are so tricky. This is the exact reason why I prefer using the eye test. Um, because if you just go by kind of the big ones that you usually see, shots in general, Fuego had 23 shots attempts, but only 7 of those shots were on target. Whereas Charlotte had 12 shot attempts, but 10 were on target and 4 went in. So Fuego dominated passing, accuracy, and possession as well. But I think part of the reason as well, just kind of looking at the stats, obviously a red card is going to hurt you. Yellow cards. And the big one for me is the 10 fouls for Fuego to Charlotte's 4. That was a big talking point for us too, before that. Fuego comes in and plays with one of those styles that is very aggressively minded, so they're going to pick those up. But at the same time, against a more technically sound team like Charlotte is, it is really difficult to play that style and get yourself into that trouble because it limits so much of what you can do in your game plan, which is a very physical and very in your face style game plan.
And how many shots on target did you say that Fuego had?
23. 23 shots, 7 on target.
Oh, 7 on target. Wow. Jeez. And of those, wow, that's jeez. Yeah, Fuego was taking all kinds of shots. They had 13 in the box, 10 outside. Only 5 were blocked. So I mean, a lot of those were going straight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. Jeez. I didn't look close enough at the stats on that one. That's cool.
That one I did not, and I did not get a chance to watch that one quite yet either. That was one of those ones that I kind of looked at and was like, yeah, I expected that to happen. Rewatching that, I'll get around to it eventually, and of course I never did.
Yeah. I had to, so with the bye week, I decided to take the weekend off and I watched the Aston Villa match, but that was my football disappointment for the weekend. But I decided to take the rest of the weekend to myself. I didn't watch any League One soccer, so I had to make up for it um, in in the recent days to get this all watched and prepared and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this one was fun to watch. So Charlotte, um, as we expected, was it just seemed to have like even with the stats that we just mentioned with Charlotte or with Fuego and all the shots they were taking, it just seemed like the flow was going Charlotte's direction the entire time.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
which that's kind of Charlotte's MO, really.
yeah.
They're not they're that sneaky team that they were last year. I mean, I know they're sitting at the top of the table right now, but we still don't talk a whole lot about Charlotte. They just kind of show up, get the job done, and leave.
Mhm.
They don't necessarily do it in a super flashy way. They do it in a very professional, technical way, and I applaud them for that. It's just not always on the forefront of your mind when you're trying to get people in and interested on into what you're talking about. It kind of lends itself more to an everyday talk show as opposed to a once a week talk show.
Yeah. I was told by somebody recently that Charlotte was putting hoodies on sale for 1776, which
Perfect.
nicely done, Charlotte. So I decided to go to their website to see which hoodie it was. And it was a woman's hoodie.
Oh,
So I couldn't buy it. I was looking
unfortunate.
forward to possibly getting a hoodie too. So, oh well, didn't happen.
So if anybody
If
from
I
the
do see
Charlotte
it,
front office is listening,
yeah.
there would be a demand for men's hoodies too.
If you have any men's hoodies for 1776, I'm just saying.
Maybe not necessarily in your own city, but around maybe.
Yeah, possibly. And then to finish off the Saturday action of week 18, Union Omaha hosted Richmond,
Mm-hmm.
finished out with a convincing 3-0 victory.
Yeah. One definite kind of fluky goal at the beginning that I did want to talk about a little bit. Brandon Knapp getting continuing his run in even a what was going to be a pass around the back looking kind of situation. The turf monster jumps up and bites the keeper for Richmond, and Brandon Knapp steals one. Definitely, if you're a Richmond fan, I would be completely livid at the state of the pitch that Omaha's playing on right now. And you have every right to be after that goal because it is not great. I had both my kids with me at this match, so I didn't sit in my usual midfield seats. We actually sat on the side closest to the third base dugout and up on the drink rails over there. But I mean, seeing it from up there, that pitch is absolutely atrocious, and I honestly have no idea how that clears any League One standard. And it's been a common theme. I mean, I've talked about it before on here, but just the state of the pitch since the first season for Union Omaha has gotten significantly worse year after year, and something definitely needs to change. If I was another team, I would definitely be questioning whether or not that surface is technically playable by the standards that they should be held to.
Yeah. And Tim feels similar in a similar way to you. Sorry, excuse me, I got burps. I kind of feel bad for Brandon. First goal being like that, great work, has deserved it, but certainly probably deserved a better first goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll take it though. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you get your first goal. Who really cares how you get it? You probably would have foreseen yourself, 40 yards out, taking a shot and top binning it, but they can't all be like that. So maybe
Yeah.
this will throw him in a little bit of a groove, which would be nice for him to kind of get into. Um, that being said, too, the other two goals, Joe Gallardo. I mean, taking that penalty just right through the keeper's hands. Not even through his hands, just too quick for the keeper. Keeper guessed the right direction, guessed the right height, everything was just too fast. And then that free kick goal. I mean, that dude, Joe Gallardo, is a free kick magician. Took a deflection off one of the members of the wall for Richmond, but honestly, I don't think it would have made much of a difference. I think that ball was going in regardless. And yeah, he got awarded with Player of the Week for those two honors. So can't argue too much.
So going back to playing the field conditions,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of inspired some questions I want to throw your way.
Sure.
The new stadium's going to have turf.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on turf rather than natural grass?
I don't like it for the sport. I understand why they're doing it. They're going to want it to be a multi-purpose facility, and natural grass with concerts and the amount of wear and tear that's going to be on the field. It's not going to lend itself to natural grass, nor does the climate in Nebraska for growing the natural grass on a regular basis. Um, so I don't necessarily like it, but unfortunately, it is something that we have to deal with being in the state that we're in.
With Union Omaha getting a women's team, I'm going to throw some information at you. Union Omaha is planning on having a Super League team in the future,
Hmm.
26, 27, thereabouts.
Yeah, they said as much at the town hall. Yeah.
There's a lot of studies happening regarding women's soccer and a very large uptick in ACL tears in women's soccer,
Mm-hmm.
even more so when they're playing on turf.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's going to sway any of those potential signings away from Omaha?
Uh, I mean, I don't know the state of the Super League pitches as far as what other teams are playing and what surface they're playing on. I don't necessarily know that it would sway somebody's decision too much. I think obviously money is going to be the biggest deciding factor in all of this. I think most people, if you pay me significantly more to come do my job in a slightly worse condition, most people are going to take that anyway. Um, it's definitely something to look out for, but I don't necessarily think it's going to sway a whole lot of people's decisions one way or another, whether it be for the Super League or for USL Championship or Academy even or anything like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you have a chance to play at the top level, in which case Super League would be at the top level,
Division 1, yep.
like you said, I mean, if you're given the opportunity and a decent paycheck, yeah, you got to go for it.
Mhm. I agree.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate that it's going to be turf. I don't like seeing it being turf. I'm happy that Memorial Stadium is going back to natural grass too.
Well, very much so.
Yeah.
Super excited. Super excited for that. And if anybody here is not a college football fan, I'm sorry, but I'm super excited. First Husker game is on Saturday. My brother's out of town, so I'm taking my son. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. And Tim raising a good point. I could see the winters here turning people off more than the turf. I wholeheartedly agree with that
I've lived here my whole life. I still hate the winters here.
because starting your season and well, I guess they would start their season here in August and then
Hmm.
run through winter and trying to do training in the wintertime. Oh,
Oh, I forget what the name of that indoor facility is that Union Omaha practice is at.
yeah.
Right over there off Giles, but that place is going to be seeing quite a bit more people playing in there.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Hashtag
Well, then
Parliament snow removal. They are good at it. I'll
they
say
were
that.
very fast and efficient. Then we did have some Sunday Week 18 USL League One action as Northern Colorado hosted Greenville with a surprising 3-0 victory.
Banked. I mean, this is another one that I actually did catch live. Yeah, Northern Colorado looks like they got the group for the Jaegermeister Cup and then forgot to tell themselves that this was a regular season match because they
Yep.
came out and played like the Jaeger Cup team. So um, this one, shockingly to me, never seemed like it was in doubt for Northern Colorado. I mean, they looked significantly like the better team in this one, which is really weird to say that Greenville's defense stumbled quite a bit in this one. That's not something we're used to saying at all. So um, interesting. Also helps Omaha. So Northern Colorado, thank you for that one too. Um, but yeah, just Greenville didn't seem like they even really got off the bus for this
Yeah.
one. Um, Crazy.
Noco was up 2-0 by the 10th minute.
Hmm.
When you're down by 2 goals after 10 minutes, yeah, that's demoralizing. And they could have had their third goal in extra time in the first half extra time, but Ethan Hort had that missed penalty.
Yep.
So they could have had a 4-0 victory.
Hmm. Yeah, and then Tim coming in saying Greenville had one shot on target and it came in the second half.
Oh, in the second half.
Yeah, I
Man,
mean,
that's
that's
brutal.
that's just total domination. That's just kind of what happens. What more can you say, really? Um,
Yeah.
Jaeger, Northern Colorado came out for this one, so
Well, we did talk about their recent results and how they've really been kicking it into gear lately. In their last three matches, they're undefeated, winning two of the three.
mhm,
And then if you go back, they're undefeated in their last four. So they're among the top teams in both. They are the top team in the last three matches. They're among the top in the last five matches. So this is a Colorado team that's turning things around.
mhm.
We see that action with Lexington. We saw it with Northern Colorado. I mean, this man, this is a good weekend for teams to show up.
Yeah, definitely was.
Well, that was all of the week 18 action. We have six matches this coming weekend, all in the eighth round of the Jägermeister Cup. Eighth round is the last round of the group stage of the Jägermeister Cup.
Mhm.
And this one, these kickoffs are not at the same time. They aren't even on the same day. We have two on Thursday, two Friday, one Saturday, one Sunday. The pro is we get more League One action. The con is they're not at the same time. You so for instance, Tormenta and One Knox plays Sunday. By the time they even kick off, they know what they have to do before they even like kick the ball.
Mhm.
Whereas on the other hand, Union Omaha, who currently holds the wild card spot, has to sit there and see what destiny has for them uh, for the rest of the weekend. So it's crazy that the scheduling is worked out this way.
Right.
Not a fan of it.
Well, I honestly really think Omaha just because they're sitting in that spot, score goals. Yeah, I mean, you figure you have a what is it, 3 goal lead right now, or is it two? Either way, you figure you score 3 goals, which is a very, very big task against forward Madison, I will say. If you can somehow score 3 goals, you should be fine. Um, but it is going to be a little bit butt clenchy for Union Omaha if they get either shut out or only score one. So there's, like you said, I mean, they're definitely going to be glued to the streams for these ones to see what their fate actually is. Which I'm sure nobody loves to have their fate being decided by other people. They would much rather control their own. But with Northern Colorado in the West group just dominating this competition thus far, uh, that's too tough of a task for them to figure out.
And here's another mini rant. Tomorrow night, Forward Madison hosts Union Omaha. Why is it on a Thursday night? These two teams travel. They
Mm-hmm.
like to play each other. Those matches are always like close matches. They like to banter online. Put it on the weekend. Let them travel. Let them embrace each other. I guarantee you this as well. During the match or during the match day, whatever, the opposing fan is probably going to buy some merch from the home site anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Extra sales right there. And also think about this. You want more engagement on social media throughout this whole weekend?
Mm-hmm.
whoever's driving obviously is not going to be able to jump onto Twitter or Instagram, social media. But I
Right.
guarantee you, the people who are riding in the same vehicle as that driver, they're going to check Twitter at least once, twice, three times, six times in that trip home. And they're going to be engaging other fans, possibly ones that they even met during that match.
Yep.
So you drive the social media content even more. Like just a huge missed opportunity on this one. I understand Richmond and Spokane being on Thursday. That's a cross country match. Like that one doesn't mean much. But again, Friday, Greenville and Charlotte. Kickoff starts at 7. That's not enough time for the fans to travel from one city to the other. Put that on a Saturday.
Hmm.
And I know that we were just talking about how Charlotte only had 530 at their home match, but still give them the opportunity if they want to travel to this one.
Hmm.
We're missing out on opportunities here for like social media engagement, for sales, both at the gates and at the merch store. You're missing out on a bigger audiences for the broadcasts. I mean, come on.
I will say I think the reason that this was put on a Thursday is they probably didn't figure that Madison and Omaha would be, both of them would either be not already clinched at this point, or that it was going to be this big of a match for both teams. Um, and also, we have to remember that Madison typically outdraws most teams' Saturday matches for their Thursday matches. I wouldn't even say typically, because that's wrong. They always outdraw the majority of teams in this league, even for their Thursday night matches. So
Yeah.
that I can kind of see. We know Forward Madison loves those Thursdays because of that reason, and honestly, I would too. There's a whole lot of promotions you could do for that one as well. But yeah, I mean, I can see the pros and the cons. I think the cons outweigh the pros in this one because I think Madison's going to draw that amount of people no matter what they do. That's just how they do it up there in Madison. They come out and fully support the Mangos up there. So I agree with you. I think it probably should have been a Saturday night match, but here we are.
Yeah. No matter what, the fans are going to have a great time. I was at the Henny Derby when it was at Bree Stevens earlier this season. I think that was in April. Yeah, it was in April. And I mean, they put on a great show for the fans. You're going to have a great time. I think that match was also Madison's home opener. So you get a home opener, it's on the weekend, you get a rival coming in. I mean, that place was packed
Hmm.
and it was a great environment. There was a good balance between people who were there socializing and have a great time with their friends, but also people who were actively engaged in the match and fully pursuing every single call that was made on the field. So it was a great time, and I have no doubt that tomorrow night is going to be the exact same way there in Madison.
Yep, I agree.
And Tim is throwing some really good comments here in the live chat. Um, Saying one goal would require a minimum of 4 goals from either Charlotte or Greenville. I think he's talking about Union Omaha
Hmm.
scoring that goal, having that effect on Charlotte or Greenville. And that is a match we'll be talking about here in just a moment. Tormenta one Knox could go for a 6-6 draw and let one of them get in. True. In that case, it would be Tormenta because they have a 1 goal advantage over Knox. Um, And he's saying that Union Omaha's got Ford Madison on socials. All right. All right. I like that. Get a little banter in the comment section here. Do does Wisconsin football play Friday night? I know that their volleyball team played last night.
Yeah, it looks like Tim saying that Wisconsin plays Friday night at home,
Yeah,
and
they
there's
play
nothing on Saturday.
Friday night at 9. Huh. Cool.
And then it's also saying going into Labor Day on Monday, you open it up for real travel. Very true.
Yep.
It's a good weekend for that. And Luke Martin also coming in saying Furman football is on the road. No reason Greenville can't host on Saturday.
Yeah.
The Jagermeister Cup, ladies
Absolutely.
and gentlemen.
Yeah. But speaking of that Greenville Charlotte match, that one is probably the biggest one to watch this
Oh yeah,
weekend
definitely.
because they are currently first and second in the East group, and they're only separated by 2 points.
Single point.
Single point. Okay, so that makes it even better. Whoever wins that group. And if they go to PKs, you have even more drama there. Because Charlotte could pass them by a single point if they win PKs. So this tons of drama here.
Mm-hmm.
Add to it the extra wrinkle here that Tim kind of alluded to in the mention about Tormenta and Knox, because he said that they could go for a 6-6 draw. Same could go for Greenville and Charlotte. They, even though they're facing each other and battling for winning that group, they could still run up the score because we're not talking goal differential here. We're talking about goals scored.
Yep.
So they could literally just go back and forth, racking up goals left and right. And they could just shake hands at the end of 90 minutes. One team gets to be the winner of the group, and the other team gets to go in on the wild card purely on goals scored alone.
Mm-hmm. But that also brings up the potential of them playing each other 3 times in 3 Jagermeister Cup weekends
Okay.
in a
So
row.
Greenville and Charlotte already play twice in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Then they play twice in the Jaeger Cup because they're in the same group.
Yep.
Now you start throwing in the possibility of playing each other in the Jaeger Cup playoffs, then the possibility about playing each other in the regular season play or um the playoffs. They could play each other 6 times this season. 6 times.
Yep. Interesting. I mean, you'd definitely be sick of the other fan base by the end of that one
Oh
6 times.
my gosh.
Even if they were the nicest people in the world, you would still be sick of them.
Oh man. Tim coming in saying, "Do I believe that kind of collusion would happen? No. Do I take it that possibility away with scheduling? Absolutely. So yeah. Ooh, if Charlotte had a fan base. Ooh. Hey, they showed up to the Carolina Ascent match, the first one. They didn't for the second one though.
Yep. Mm.
The other Friday night match, Central Valley Fuego hosting Northern Colorado. Meh, doesn't really
Doesn't do
have a whole lot
anything.
of yeah,
Playing for pride at that point. Maybe seeding if they go by points. Who
yeah,
knows? Um, but yeah, not a ton of not a ton of real things to talk about on that one.
yeah. Um, what was that one? So for the Lexington and Chattanooga match, Lexington is still alive points wise.
2 points
Chattanooga
off. Yep. Uh,
is
Le-
not.
Lexington is 2 points off of Forward Madison in the group. Obviously, Chattanooga sitting on 4 points right now has been eliminated. This is another match that has a little bit of drama in it. However, Lexington has been playing well in the Jaeger Cup, and Chattanooga has not. So, definitely a chance for Lexington. They gotta take care of their own business and then hope Omaha beats Forward Madison in regulation. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So this is interesting because the current wild card winner is Union Omaha with 13 goals.
mhm.
Next one down is Charlotte with 10. Then you have 4 teams that are tied with 8 goals. And 2 of those 4 teams are Lexington and Chattanooga. So there's a storyline there as well.
Mhm.
That one's going to be fun.
Yeah, and Tim saying that match is only drama filled if Omaha beats Madison, and they will already know that by the time that match kicks off.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunately, I think this schedule was probably already has been done for a while. They had no idea that this is going to be how the groups shook out. I think it's just unfortunate scheduling on League One's part at this point. Um, because yeah, I think we all would have rather have had like a decision day ordeal. But here we are.
Yep. And then we finish off the group stage action on Sunday at 7:30 with Tormenta hosting One Knox. And Tormenta has scored 8 goals so far in the cup, and Knoxville has 7. So both teams, while they've been eliminated from the group stage, or at least winning their group, they're still alive in the wild card hunt, theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be a lot of goals scored in this one too.
Which is exactly what they wanted. So maybe we do see that. Maybe we do see teams just take their foot off the gas or on and step their foot on the gas, take their foot off the brake. Don't care if you beat me or not. I just need to score 17 goals.
Yeah,
Throw attackers only.
yeah.
Just all out 11 guys, all attackers. If the ball goes in, everybody just runs. Somebody runs back, grabs it, gets reset, and goes again.
So let's say you're one of the 4 teams that play Saturday or Sunday: Lexington, Chattanooga, Tormenta, or Knoxville. You've already watched Thursday night's match between Forward Madison and Union Omaha, and you see where Union Omaha currently sits with their goals scored for the wild card race. Let's say that Union Omaha extends that lead by a couple goals. That means that for Tormenta, they would have, let's see, Union Omaha's at 13 goals. So let's say they get to 15. That means Tormenta would have to score 7 goals to tie, 8 to win. At that point, if you're the coach, are you sitting back thinking, all right, I knew what roster I was going to go in with if we had a really strong chance. But now that I see the updated score line, do you pull back on the roster a little bit, play some new guys, tinker with some stuff?
Yeah, I think if it gets to an unrealistic amount of goals for some of these teams that are eliminated from winning the group, but maybe not completely eliminated from the goals scored, you probably keep your original ones in. But if like you said, if Omaha scores maybe a couple goals, which that's all they have to do. It does not matter to Omaha if they win this match or not. Obviously, it does if you're a fan of either team. You want your team to win, but Omaha needs goals at this point. It doesn't make a difference to them if they win or lose. Um, so it's just really difficult to kind of foresee what's going to happen because of how well Madison has played in this in season tournament. So it's going to be difficult to see. I think some of these teams that may have a shot at it might want to take a crack and maybe tweak their lineup a little bit. But I think more often than not, it's going to shake out that the teams that are in are going to know that they're in before they kick a ball this weekend. So
Yeah.
um, it's tough.
I was going to throw out an extra scenario here because Richmond and Tormenta they both have a bye week in the next round of, or in the next week of regular season matches. Richmond does play tomorrow night alongside, Ford Madison, Union Omaha, all that stuff. But if you were maybe Tormenta later on in the weekend, so you play this match and you know that you have a bye week the week after.
Mm-hmm.
Does that give you extra incentive to alter your roster, alter your tactics at all?
I mean, if you got to score 7 goals, man,
Yeah,
that's a lot of goals to score in a match.
yeah.
Oh, I don't think realistically, if the lead gets ballooned to 7 goals, I don't think any team's realistically going to go after it
No.
too much. 3 goals, it depends on the team. I'd have to really look into like what teams hold the tiebreakers on X, Y, and Z reasons. Um, 3 goals to me is manageable. I think if you're within 3 goals of that fourth spot and you don't have a chance to make it any other way, I think you I think you rally the team and it doesn't really matter. I think you can take one one loss maybe in the regular season because you have to rotate heavily after something like this. I think you take that risk to be able to get into the playoffs because it is another piece of hardware and it is a payday. So,
Yep. So to give any fans out there that are not a fan of Union Omaha, here's a seed of hope for you, especially if you're a Charlotte fan. In the entire history of Union Omaha versus Forward Madison, neither team has scored 3 or more goals in a match. So, even if you're talking a maximum of 2 goals from Union Omaha, that puts them at 15 goals. If you're Charlotte, yes, that the door closes just a little bit more, but you still have a chance.
mhm,
Whereas looking at the matchup between Charlotte and Greenville, there have been multiple times when 3 goals were scored by one of the two teams.
mhm,
They've never scored four, they never scored five. So the door closes a little bit more at that point. Just trying to tie some stats here to give you a little bit of a storyline. And but if you're a Charlotte fan, there's a little bit of hope there because if you look at Greenville's recent run of form, they haven't been excelling the way that we have seen them do
mhm,
earlier in the season. Let me go back to that graph here I had. So in the last three, Greenville is winless. They've drawn two out of their last three. They've only scored 1 goal in their last 3 matches. In their last five, they've only won one match, scoring a total of 3 goals. They've been held scoreless in 3 of their last 5 matches. So Greenville's in a bit of a lull right now.
mhm.
This would be a perfect time for Charlotte to take advantage of that when win the group and then leave it up to Greenville to and how many does Greenville? Greenville has 10 goals as well. So,
Yep.
oh yeah, you start to see all the drama, all the implications of every single match that's happening this weekend and all the history. Yeah,
Mhm.
plenty of drama coming.
Yeah, I think if you're Madison, Charlotte, or Greenville, your main goal is win the match that's ahead of you.
Yeah.
I mean, you do that, it's a win and you're in situation. Um, I think each team is going to come into it, and Lexington too, I suppose, for that matter. They'll need a little bit of help, but still, um, all of these teams are going to be able looking to win the match that's in front of them, whether that be to get into. Um, sorry.
I saw that too.
um, they want to win the match that's in front of them, whether that be to further their chances in Jagermeister Cup or to build a little bit of cohesion for this last couple month push of the regular season. I think those are both noble goals for any team on here. So I think every single team is going to be going into this weekend expecting to win the match and wanting to win the match that they're playing. And I think most teams will be aware of the score lines of the other games, but will not factor that in too much to their game plan unless Madison beats and shuts out Omaha. Then that really opens the door for Charlotte and Greenville to be a lot more interesting than it would have otherwise been.
Yeah. Yep. And Tim saying, I mean, this is the biggest game in Madison history. Yeah, I cannot believe they put that on social media. That just opened the door for all kinds of snarky responses.
Very, very trolly behavior. Um, yeah. Uh, our listeners should be very proud of me. I think I have not said anything until tonight, and tonight I don't think I've even been bad. So, um, I better not be getting any inbox messages from any Madison fans saying that I hate on their team or anything like that. Um, I've been a good boy this week, so just have bigger things on my mind, like League One titles and title matches, playoff matches, you know, Open Cup round of 16 matches, stuff like that. But for no reason at all. I'm not saying that for any
Always.
reason at all.
Well, before you and I jump into predictions here, let's run through the qualifying scenario for all of, well, for the teams this coming weekend. Yeah, we can do it really quick.
Northern
In the
Colorado's
East,
in.
yes. In the West group, Northern Colorado, congratulations, you have won the West group. In the Central group, there are two teams still alive to win the group: Ford Madison, Lexington. Ford Madison plays Union Omaha tomorrow night. Lexington plays Chattanooga on Saturday. The case for both of them: Madison, if you win, you are in. Madison, if you win Lexington, you need to start scoring goals because you are not going to win the group.
Correct.
Even if Ford Madison wins on PKs against Union Omaha,
Yep.
they win the group. Well, no, yeah, they
Yeah,
would win the group.
yeah, I
So
think
they'd be a
based on
split
tie,
team.
yeah, I think based on tiebreakers too, they are maxed out anyway on that group.
So yeah. Um, so Lexington, just focus on scoring a bunch of goals.
Lexington will know what they need to do by the
Yeah.
time they kick off. So Lexington needs to hope that Madison does not win in any capacity against Union Omaha. They can take a draw against Union Omaha, but they can't. Not they don't. I don't even think they can take a draw because I think Madison has the tiebreakers over all of these teams as well.
Yeah. Lexington is going to be a huge Union Omaha fan tomorrow night.
So,
And then,
yeah, and then they need to take care of business, obviously, on Saturday. So,
yeah.
um, Lexington fans will definitely be watching the Omaha match, Omaha Madison, to see how their season's going to go for the Jägermeister Cup, at least.
In the East group, we have two clubs that are still alive in contention for winning the group: Greenville and Charlotte. Good news, they play each other. So that's going to be an amazing match to watch. Separated by a single point, Greenville is ahead of Charlotte by that single point. Like Brian was just saying, just focus on the match ahead of you, just win it.
Winning in.
That's winning in. That's the name of the game for Greenville and Charlotte on Friday night. No other matches matter to them at this point. They just need to win that match on Friday.
Yep.
The loser of that match can start doing the math, start looking around the rest of the matches to see what they've done in comparison to others and see if they still have a chance. But like Brian said, just focus on winning your match on Friday.
Yeah, I think both of these teams are probably going to be watching the Omaha Madison match to see what they are going to have to do as a contingency plan. If it looks like you're probably not going to win the match, maybe 3/4 of the way through, do you start subbing on attackers to try to finish out and not necessarily win the match, but get some more goals and try to get that fourth spot? Either way, it's a tall task. I think both of these teams just focus on winning the match, and then you're taken care of. Because whoever wins this match between Greenville and Charlotte wins that Eastern group and is guaranteed a spot in. Still don't know about seeding. Who's going to play who? Whom? Whichever one it is. We still don't know that yet, but.
And Tim raises a really good point here. Charlotte would hold the tiebreaker if they end tied on points. Because if Charlotte beats Greenville in PKs, they would be tied on 13 points each. But the first tiebreaker in Jägermeister is going to be head-to-head points earned in small group play. So at that point, because Charlotte beat Greenville last time, 3 points winning the PKs in this round would be 2 points. They would be 5-1. So yes, they would go through.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an extra safety netting for Charlotte.
Ooh, Tim's coming in saying seeding is most points among division winners. Number 1 host number 4, number 2 host number 3. So most points. Number 1 seed then is Northern Colorado. Or Forward Madison if Forward Madison wins.
Yeah.
Either way, it's looking like those. If Forward Madison wins, it's Northern Colorado and Forward Madison are 1 and 2. And chances are after that it goes to goals scored, which would in turn put Northern Colorado at number 1, Madison at number 2.
Yep. And for anybody that we did not mention, the goal is simple. Goals.
Lots and lots of goals.
Score them in mass quantities. Just do it.
Not only is that a good look for you, and not only is that a good look for the tournament, but can you imagine the Sports Center headlines if a team wins 15-10 in professional soccer? You'd get some eyes. I'm not saying go out and do that, but if you're one of these teams that are already eliminated and have no shot of getting in any other way, maybe bring it up. Maybe give the other coach a call and say, hey, maybe we just pull some random people from the crowd, throw some jerseys on them today. They get paid in exposure. There you go. Let's see what happens.
And I guarantee you, if you have a final score in the Jager Cup of 15-10, that's going to be a bigger score line than any there's I guarantee you there's going to be college football games this weekend that are going to be lower than 15-10. There may only be 1 or 2, but I guarantee you Sports Center would talk about how a soccer match had more points than a college football game.
Looking at you, Iowa. Does Iowa play football this weekend? I don't know. The only time I care about Iowa Hawkeye football is when Nebraska plays them. So
they play Illinois State on Saturday at noon. But do they play football? Gross.
But anyway, I mean, we have those scenarios. That's how it's gonna shake out at some point, and we know what everybody's main goal is. Obviously, win first, points second, points scored second. It'll be interesting. Like we said, all these teams are gonna know what they have to do by virtue of Omaha and Madison playing so early, which is good for them. Potentially bad for Madison and or Omaha. We'll just have to see how it goes.
Yep. All right, predictions. First up, Richmond hosting Spokane.
Richmond hosting Spokane. Richmond has scored more goals, allowed fewer goals. Both are eliminated. I don't think either of them are catching the wild card spot, barring something amazing happening. Richmond's, I mean, neither of their form is very good, but Richmond's form is better than Spokane's in this Jägermeister Cup. So I got to take the kickers in this one.
Okay.
The score line
I'm
does
gonna
not
go.
matter because they will not score enough to get in.
Yeah, I'll go the opposite direction. I will go Spokane with the victory. Ford Madison Union Omaha.
This one is a little bit tougher. Derby match. Madison's definitely going to be throwing the kitchen sink at Omaha to try to get control of that Midwest group. I see Madison actually beating Omaha in this one, but I think Omaha scores one goal and still gets in on by virtue of goals scored. So I'll say 2-1. I think Madison takes Omaha 2-1. Better form in Open Cup play or in Open Cup in Jägermeister Cup play. Um, it's just tough to bet against Forward Madison on a Thursday night at Bree Stevens.
I am gonna go against your pick again. I'm gonna say Union Omaha 1-0.
For the record, I hope that that's what happens. Well, actually, I hope it's like 7-0 Omaha, but still. Oh, yeah. Tim saying it's also Bark at the Park night and Bluey night in Madison. They're going to have Bluey out there taking pictures with the kids. I am super upset. I would love to take my kids to go get pictures with Bluey. It is the greatest show ever created for children in the history of shows. So super jealous, but that'll be fun for everybody up there.
And Tim coming in saying the last 1-0 victory to Union Omaha in Madison was the night we clinched the Shield last year.
It's true.
That is very true. All right, next up is Greenville and Charlotte.
With Greenville's run of form recently and Charlotte's run of form in all competitions, it's really hard for me to pick against Charlotte in this one. I think Charlotte has Greenville's number. I think they're the better team, and I think Charlotte is gonna come out, go on the road, and take care of business and win the group.
And here's another storyline for you. Charlotte has never won in Greenville.
In
So they
Greenville or
in
in
Greenville.
Furman?
In Greenville. That's how far this goes back. Back to 2022. They have never won in Greenville. That being said, I think this is the match where they break that streak. I think they beat Greenville, and I'm going to go with a 2-0 victory.
Mm. I'm taking Charlotte 3-1.
3-1. That's a good one too.
Still not enough based on my pick earlier for Union Omaha scoring one against Madison. That gives Omaha the advantage in goals scored. So that is where Omaha gets in over Greenville.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Central Valley hosting Northern Colorado. It's the Ice and Fire or Fire and Ice Cup.
The KY Cup. I I really don't mean to always come on the show and just shit all over Fuego, but Fuego's real bad, man. And Northern Colorado, especially in this competition, is real good. I don't think it matters too much to them that they've already won the group. I think they're going to come out and play the same way they would if they were fighting for the playoff spot. That's kind of from our conversations with Heyman and everything, and just kind of the way other coaches talk about him and owners talk about him. He is that kind of guy that is going to come out and want 3 points no matter what. I think Colorado comes out and pretty easily handles Fuego. I think it's over early, but I think it ends only 2-0.
Oh man. I don't see. I don't know which way to go with this one because this match literally means nothing for Northern Colorado
Or Fuego.
or Fuego.
there's there's this match could literally just be a draw and then nobody comes out for PKs and they both lose. Like it makes no difference.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I think Eamon is going to prep them to continue playing, to continue battling. I can't imagine he's going to sit a lot of his starters. What was your score?
2-0.
Okay. I think Central Valley will keep it close. I think it'll be 2-1.
That's fair. I mean, oh, and Tim also another good point. Fuego gets to use it to burn off the red card from last week. That's worth something.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. All right. So the other Saturday night match is going to be Lexington hosting Chattanooga.
This one does have some implications. Uh, Pending the results, in my prediction, this match doesn't mean anything. I like Lexington's form in this competition. I think Lexington is going to come out on top on this one. Uh, give me a 2-1 in this one, I guess.
I think this one's going to be high scoring. And I think
Interesting.
Lexington is going to take control of this match. I think they're going to go for it. And I'm going to say Lexington wins. Oh, man. I'll say 3-0. I really wanted to say 4-0, but 4 seemed a bit excessive. I'll give them 3.
Well, they need 5 to tie Union Omaha as they sit now.
Oh, they're going to be going for it big time.
Pending results, yes, they could be going for it big time.
Yeah. Oh. And it would be a dagger in the heart of Lexington fans to say 4-0.
So if you're basing this pick off your prediction, wasn't your prediction Omaha beats Madison 1-0?
1-0.
So they would actually need 6
6.
goals.
Okay. All right. I'll keep it at 3 then. I'll keep it at 3-0 for Lexington.
You were thinking about it though the other way.
I was.
Yeah, that makes sense. The last match at Toyota Stadium for Lexington as well.
Yep.
Very nice. Go out on a high note, a 3-0 win.
That's exciting.
It's not a bad way to go.
Yeah. All right. And then the last match
Ooh, if
of
that is true, Tim, yes. If Madison loses to Omaha, Lexington just has to win.
true. So I had
You had
Union Omaha
Madison
over
losing,
Madison.
so for you, Lexington has to win for your
So Lexington would go through and Madison would not.
correct.
Whoa. There's some drama. Ford Madison has 7 goals. So at that point, they would need, they would need even more.
They would need 7.
Ooh. Okay. Well, my drama is Lexington's winning the group then.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Cool. All right. That's awesome. Okay. That's cool. I like that storyline.
Thanks for the assist, Tim.
All right. Last match of the group stage of the Jägermeister Cup. Tormenta hosting One Knox.
Oh, this is one. Does not matter. I mean, theoretically, doesn't matter. Um, Hmm. I really feel like Tormenta is going to come into this one with the mindset of we need to get right and we need to get right quickly, especially for their regular season push as the last couple months of the season wind down. I think they're going to come in with the mindset we have to win this match. And I think it's going to be very difficult for them, but I do think they get it done. And I think they do beat One Knox 3-2.
Whoa.
I'm thinking a typical Tormenta back against the wall performance. They let a couple goals in early and then come storming back, which we have seen from that team multiple times.
Yeah. So the reason I reacted the way I did because to your storyline or to your scoreline there, Tormenta and One Knox have faced each other 5 times all time. In 3 of the 5 matches, the winner scored 1 goal. So they won 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
So winning 3-2,
That
that's
just
suddenly
the
an
whole thing.
outlier in their
Yeah.
all-time series. That's cool. All right. I like it. Uh okay, so I had
Yeah. Great chance to play the kids for Tormenta, get some momentum. Very much so.
yep. So I had Omaha getting 1 goal, so they'd be at 14.
Mm-hmm.
So Tormenta would have to score 7.
I mean, what did they score against Greenville? Was that 5?
Like last season?
I remember if it was last season or the season before that.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that.
It's like a 5-5 draw, something.
And Tormenta did beat Chattanooga 4-0 earlier this season. But this is a One Knox side
A defensive minded One Knox side.
defensive, yeah. But here's another stat for you. One Knox has not scored a goal on the road in regulation in 90 minutes since round 1 of the Jager Cup. The other times they scored a goal, they had to go to PKs in order to do so. So One Knox doesn't score a whole lot on the road. And in both of the victories they had over Tormenta this season, it was simply 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
So even in those matches, it was low scoring. So, okay. And you had 3-2?
Yeah, Tormenta comes out on top 3-2.
Okay. I will say Tormenta 2-1.
Built a little momentum. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. All right, we are at 89 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, throw them our way and we'll get that going. I'll
Mm-hmm.
check Twitter to see if anybody has anything on that front. I don't see anything. Um, yep, I don't see anything on Twitter. And Tim coming in saying, hey, you get Viva 6 goals. He can challenge for the boot and get you the playoffs. I do love me some Seba goals.
As long as they're not against my team, I'm good with them.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, looks like we are good to end the evening. Thank you everybody for tuning in to another episode of League One on the Rocks. We're going to be coming back next week to recap all of this action and to hype up the playoff round of the Jager Cup, as well as the the full sprint to finish the the regular season. So a lot of action happening
Too quick.
next week and the next few weeks. So things are really going to start heating up here pretty soon. So we're going to bring all that your way. Tune in to another episode next week. League One on the Rocks. My name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter at I'm Rich, but I'm not. That is Brian. You can find him on Twitter at Mediocre Ace. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.